What's up, guys? Sorry, I started a little bit early and I got something else that I had to deal with, and I was going to talk to you guys sooner, but what's up, Archons? I'm Flightless Pheasant, and we've got about half an hour left before things really get rolling, but I figured, hey, I'd go ahead and talk to you guys, because I like talking to you guys, and I want to be ready this time, because I feel like last time I did one of these, I was not fully prepared, and it was a little bit of a mess, and so I think I've got everything prepared this time. I'm hoping we'll be real smooth. What's up, Atlantis? Nice to see you. Glad you're awake. I mean, I guess it's not that early, but you know, it's a little early, right? Have it on mute for work reasons. That's totally fair. That's totally fair. I get it. But yeah, so I just wanted to make sure I was going to be ready this time, because I feel like last time I did one of these, it was a little messy. And I don't want it to be a little messy. I want it to be smooth for you guys. Somebody pointed out to me recently, when I did my video on the deck clones and accolades yesterday, there was that really weird, like, makes no sense card down in the corner. And somebody pointed out to me something that is kind of neat. If we want to take a look here, you can see they've changed the card. they've swapped it out for the Fangtooth Cavern that they were using as an example. What's up, Baby Freed? Welcome to the stream. We're going to be doing the Gamefound stuff soonish. We got like half an hour, so I'm just kind of talking with everybody, hanging out until then. I mean, we can see if I pop over here, you know, we got another half an hour left, but I wanted to be ready, because as I was saying, the last time I did one of these, I don't feel like I was properly prepared. I feel like I was kind of shooting from the cuff, and I want to be doing a little better. And I really like talking with you guys, because historically, you've had really interesting things you wanted to talk about. I am very excited for this particular set right now. The only thing that might temper my excitement would be finding out that this is going to be another smaller than average set. And that might not be good. But I doubt that the Gamefound will tell us that, because the last Gamefound didn't tell us that Amber Skies was going to be small. So I'm also sort of hoping that they're going to take a break on the special sets, so we don't get a special set with this one. What's up, Eric? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you stopping by. Because yeah, I think they've overdone it a little bit recently, and so it'd be kind of nice if this set could go by without a special set attached to it. If this could just be kind of its own thing, but we'll see, right? Well, I mean, not right away probably, but like we'll get to look through all the stuff together, and we'll get to. They already gave us the pledge tiers in the first couple of stretch goals, but I imagine we'll get to take a look at the add-ons, and sometimes they have a more detailed description of some of the things. Like the highest pledge tier had something called a Keyforge and Me frame. I don't know what that is. Maybe there'll be pictures of it we can take a look at. Also, they'll probably have the playmats, because every set comes with playmats that you can order, usually as add-ons. And we'll take a look through those, and we'll just generally poke around, right? We'll just poke around and see what there is to see, and talk our way through it, and you know, have a good time, right? Because this is very exciting. I'm really looking forward to the prophecies and the fate cards. So far, those have all looked like they're very, very interesting, very, very fun. We've only seen 2 prophecies. Hopefully, we'll see more before the Gamefound ends, like before pledges are due, so that we can get a better idea of some of the things those do. I feel like there have to be like a dozen of them or so, right? There's got to be enough variety that you're going to see several different ones. But I don't know how they get into decks, or like how you get to pick one for a deck, or I don't know. So I'm interested to see more on that, more on like how they integrate right into the decks and whatnot. Oh no, I just realized my water glass is green, and so I'm just going to disappear every time I get thirsty. Oops. Oh well. If I go phantom mode, you'll know what's up. But yeah, no, we still got a little bit of time before before this actually kicked. Is there anything you guys are really hoping to get out of this Gamefound? Like, is there anything, you know, that you either got out of a previous one that you thought was really excellent and you want to get again, or that you feel like wasn't great in the previous Gamefounds and you're hoping they don't do again? Like, because I'm really interested, because I feel like a lot of people have strong opinions about the Gamefounds and you know, are not always in favor of them, right? Because, you know, crowdfunding is not the way we're used to these things going as consumers, and I can understand being a little leery because we really want the communities to get built, and it feels like this might be undercutting that. I get that. But, like, at the same time, you know, this is a really small game. And it kind of lives and dies on these Gamefounds right now. So, like, what... I guess, you know, what would be the sticking point, right? The, like, man, I really wish they did this or wish they did that. Keeping in mind significant limitations exist on what they actually can and can't do. You know, tiny team for a tiny game. Because I feel like a lot of my reservations went away with the home base program. You know, I mean, it's not perfect, right? But it's a clear and definite effort by Ghost Galaxy to try to... get game stores involved in the process and give them some extra additives for doing so. I wish I could get the named decks on its own. Yeah, I can see that. My question is, if you could get the named decks on their own, would you... How much does getting a named deck encourage you to go from buying the 6 packs with no name deck to the 12 packs with a name deck? You know, how much is that name deck worth about 6 packs, right? I don't know. Maybe it really makes an impact. Maybe it doesn't. I couldn't say for sure, right? Because I'm thinking about it, it doesn't really change anything for me. And, like, if the name deck was, like, a $20 or $25 add-on, you know, any changes you want to see from Ghost Galaxy. Saw the keynote and was hoping they were going to push for direct brick-and-mortar support, but we keep having Gamefound campaigns. So I think they are pushing for more brick-and-mortar support. It's just difficult, right? Because they don't have Asmodee's direct distribution network, and they don't have the advertising resources that Fantasy Flight had. So they have to, like, find... Audio for me cuts out every other second. Oh, no! My audio shouldn't be cutting out. Let me see if I can do anything about that. Let me see what my connectivity says. Give me a second. It says my connectivity's good. I'm getting good response. Let me try something, see if I can fix the audio. Okay, I cycled the power on the audio. I cut it off and turned it back on because I'm getting good response on my side, and my stream connection's a little slow, so that might be where that's coming from. There's not a whole lot I can do about that, though, because my internet connection in my office is, you know, kind of is what it is. But, oh, yeah, any changes I want to see from Ghost Galaxy. I do have some things I would very much like them to do. I would love for them to put out an organized play kit for LGSs. Even if they had to pay for it, I think it would be great to have prize support back at the store level. I think that is a thing they talked about wanting to do, and I think it was something they were saying they were going to try to do. And they've been pretty decent about event kits, and they talked about that there's going to be a summer event with an event kit, and there's going to be a event kit for Discovery, and those are all going to be LGS available, if not LGS exclusive. And then I like that they do pre-releases. I think they need to give us more warning, because a pre-release event is kind of a big event in most games for most communities. And excuse me, and the fact that we didn't get very much warning at all for Amber Sky's pre-release. We got, what, 3 weeks? 3 weeks to plan an event? Like, that's not enough time. That's just strictly not enough time to plan an event, you know? Sorry, I'm making a few adjustments to see if I can help with that audio problem. I'm putting my mic a little more central. Maybe it'll pick me up a little better. Oh, all good. Okay. Besides that, I'm enjoying your content. Your videos on Keyforge lore. Yeah, I love doing the lore stuff. I really, really do. Because it's just such a cool game. And, like, one of my biggest concerns when Ghost Galaxy took over the game is that it's such a small company. And they don't have a lot of people. And I was really, really worried that in light of that, they would struggle to keep the lore consistent. And to keep the world and the setting, you know, as part of what we were experiencing when we were getting these cards. And so I wanted to create a voice that would bring that stuff to the forefront so that the community could see it and was aware of it and was talking about it in a way that hopefully would convince Ghost Galaxy that we are very invested in the world of this game. Not just in the game itself, not just in the balance of the cards, but also the game itself. Friendly leagues with leaderboards. Oh, that could be really cool. You know, I was just talking to the owner of my LGS Wednesday about putting together a chain-bound league. So, because our community is pretty small, right? And in a small community, you're going to find the player who has the best deck pretty quickly if you're doing Archon. But with Chainbound, that deck will get chains as it wins, and eventually it'll get down to the point where other people can compete again. So I was just talking to him about it. And online with webcam vault tours. That might be possible. My concern there, and I feel like probably Ghost Galaxy's concern too, is officiation. That is to say, like, if a judge needs to perform a deck check, I suppose if you're doing it on, like, TCO, maybe, but even then, I don't know, I feel like the integration software could be really buggy. I mean, we know Playstyle is already struggling with just normal events. I feel like it would have a really hard time integrating with an online software. And Ghost Galaxy has shown this desire for proprietariness in their software development, which, like, on the one hand, I understand proprietary software is valuable in the sense that, like, you own it and you have ownership and control of it. But at the same time, you know, having something functional is also valuable, and it's hard to say, like, where I fall on the scale of which is more valuable in the long term, right? I mean, in the immediate term, having something that works is always better, but do you sacrifice proprietariness and future utility to work within the confines of someone else's structure? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not 100% on that. But I definitely think local leagues and leaderboards and things like that could be a lot of fun, particularly for a more casual bent. And honestly, I've kind of thought for a while it might be time to bring back chain binding. But at the same time, I know people don't really like chains, and I understand why they don't like them, but I do think they're a good balance mechanic that we've kind of let fall to the wayside, and maybe we shouldn't have. I don't know. Just talking to talk at this point, right? But I think that their LGS support is getting a lot better, and I think they are focused on it, right? Because we just got that big list of all the home base stores, and there was like 100 stores on that list, and you know, it was all over the world. A lot of them were U.S. stores, but you know, they did a really good job putting all that together. I didn't see a map with it, and one of the suggestions at KFC was, because like for the Martian Civil War event, they had a map that showed where all the Martian Civil War events were going to be taking place. And there was a request at KFC that they do the same thing for home bases. There isn't a map right now, but I imagine that page might get updated in the future to include a map that shows you where they all are. Which I think would be really cool, because it would be really, really cool to just be like, oh man, where's the nearest home base to me? And then you just pull up a map, and then boom, there it is, and you know where to go. That could be great. And you could even have like badges over the home bases for the different home base types. So you like a sentry badge, an outpost badge, a castle badge, and a fortress badge. I think that wouldn't be too bad. I think that would be pretty easy to do. Let's pop over and take a look at how much time we've got left. I think we've got about 15 minutes left. Yeah, a little more than 15 minutes left. Look at that. Can you feel it? Can you feel the excitement? Oh, man. I'm ready, you guys. I'm ready to go through this. I'm ready to dig in. I'm ready to dig around. I want to see what all the stuff is. Last chance to follow and get your free Foresight deck. So if you haven't done that already, last chance, jump on it, and then we'll be starting this up. 2,244 people follow. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. We can do better. I think we can do better. As my face disappears yet again. I am glad that the follow bonus this time around is a deck again, a special border deck again, because the Skyborn pins were a little underwhelming. Especially because the pins also came in the pre-release kits when we finally had the Amber Skies pre-release. So, come on! 14 more minutes. And then I'll refresh the page, and we will see what goody gubbins they have in store for us today. Yeah, I am hoping. So there's going to be playmats. I'm really hoping against hope that we get another Keyforge adventure, because I do enjoy the Keyforge adventures. They are a fun way to engage with the world, and I have a lot of people who I've gotten into Keyforge using the co-op, because if we're being honest, Keyforge can be a little daunting to get into, not just because of like complexity stuff that they're fixing with Discovery, but because you don't get to build your deck. And so if the first game of Keyforge you play is with a deck that you don't know how to play very well, or that doesn't mesh with your play style, or perhaps is even just bad. I try not to say that, because I don't really think there's a lot of Keyforge decks that are actively bad. I think there's just, bad matchups or bad hands, or you just didn't know what you were doing. You didn't know what the deck wanted to do. But it can feel really discouraging as a new player to feel like you had no agency, basically. To feel like, you were just going to get stomped by the person you were being taught by. And that can be really tough. However, the adventures have a lot less of that feeling, because it's a co-op thing now, right? We're working together towards a common goal. And so even if the adventure stomps me, I didn't lose to another person. I lost to the deck. And that can be, or to the adventure deck. And that can be really less daunting of a loss. Some people really balk at losing. And feel better if they didn't lose to another player who just like steamrolled over them. So I do like the adventures, not just from a lore perspective, not just because I think they're really fun and interesting, but because I do think they serve a useful and good function in the Keyforge community, even though they're not competitively centric. And also, like, adventures are a great place to play Menagerie or Unchained, because, like, who cares if your deck is wacky and wild in a Keyforge adventure? You know what I mean? So, hope against hope, that's what I want. I want a new Keyforge adventure. Hopefully themed around either Prophetic Visions or whatever the next set is. Which, predictions. What does anybody think the next set's theming's gonna be, right? Um, I honestly am not sure. I want it to have House Inspired in it. And House Inspired's whole thing is like being amber monks, right? But and like having a bunch of psychics and things like that. But like we're doing the psychic set right now, and we're not introducing the House Inspired. So like, I don't know what would make sense. You know, if I really want House Inspired, if that's what I'm gonna hedge my bets on, is I want House Inspired. What theming would I want to make that work? Maybe a theming around like wandering or traveling, something where you can I don't know what the mechanics would look like, but something where like, you know, you're exploring unfamiliar environments. Maybe you'd have like an environment card, and it would be some kind of global game modifier that can change when you do certain things to cause it to cycle from one set of conditions to another. You know, like you know, you could have a jungle environment card, and it could, if you exhaust a certain number of creatures or spend some amber or I don't know what, cause the environment to shift or change. I don't know. That's just a thought. I'm just trying to find a reason why wandering amber monks could fit in and have a useful role. That's really all I'm doing. So I'm not... this is just off the top of my head, you know, off the cuff. But, yeah, that's what I want for the next set, is I want House Inspired, because I've been waiting a long time for House Inspired, and I'm ready. I'm so ready. I'm also hoping... fair enough, Ketzer. Yeah, I get it. It can be difficult to invest. I know the minimum investment this time around is not huge, but like even $60 can be too much, you know, depending on situations. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. You know, it is what it is, right? You help when you can, the way you can, and hey, hopefully when the set actually comes out, you'll have a little money to splash at your LGS, and then you're still supporting Ghost Galaxy, you're still supporting the set, and you're helping out your LGS. Which, props to Christian Peterson, because he did say, you know, if you have to choose between the Gamefound and your LGS, you should choose your LGS. But, caveat to that, it would probably be a good idea to encourage your LGS to join the home base program so that they can get home base benefits, because there are a lot of cool stuff. The store decks are really cool. The Graft Cyborg House. Yo! Because the Graft mechanic is still floating around out there. I didn't even think about that. You know what? Lore dump. So there is a thing in the Keyforge role-playing setting that might not be bad for Graft. And it's minor faction. They didn't get a full workup. Yeah, and the Graft, yeah, absolutely. I totally forgot that we still have Graft floating in the wind. I want to use that. Anyway, there was a minor faction called Arms Raised that is a faction made up entirely of sentient objects, primarily weapons and like armor and stuff. I think that could be really cool. It does have a little bit of echoes of Geistoid, because Geistoid is like reanimated inanimate objects with like vengeance in their hearts. But my understanding of Arms Raised is that these aren't like reanimated objects. They're like sentient objects, either because like something sentient is trapped in them, or they gained a consciousness, or something wacky and Crucible related happened. So that might not be a terrible house. There's a fan-made Arms Raised house. Is there a fan-made Arms Raised house? Oh my goodness! That sounds super cool. I have not seen that. You're going to have to hit me with the link for that at some point so that I can take a look, because that sounds really, really cool. Another house that might be really cool, that was another minor one, is the Wreckers. I don't know how you would do them, because their whole thing is that they just want to destroy the Crucible, because they believe that it's the only way to leave, is to just smash the whole thing. Can't remember who made it, but it was a few sets ago. Fair enough. I'll dig around. I bet I can find it if I'm looking. You know, if I'm actually, like, trying to find it. I bet I can. Finally out of meeting and oh, awesome, Atlantis. Perfect. Because we got about 5 minutes left before we actually get to look at this Gamefound and see what's going on. Yeah, I totally forgot that the graft mechanic is right on the horizon. You know, graft might not be a terrible mechanic for House Inspired if the angle we take on graft is less physical grafting and more like mental grafting. You know what I mean? Yes, the stream will be available as a VOD. Absolutely. Yeah. Nope. No question. The stream will be available as a VOD. And so if you have to duck out or leave or come back or whatever, the whole thing will be available as a VOD. So, Infomancer was one of my new KFC. You got the Infomancer. Nice! I'm pretty sure the graph stuff is going to be available as anomalies in this set, because they're going to keep all of the anomalies that haven't been printed as cards, and then we'll get some new ones as well, I'm sure. Yeah, it's Infomancer and Memolith, which to me both kind of seem like, I mean, it might be physical grafting, but it might also be like some kind of mental layering, you know, some kind of like psionic, like brain layer kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe not, right? But I do like the graft mechanic conceptually. I also like Invulnerable, and they've used it a couple of times in a couple of places. Yeah, maybe it's time, right? Maybe it's time for our first ever set of anomalies to round out, and we get the last of that. That's fair. I think graft and Invulnerable could be good as a baseline for a set. And I don't think it would be too out of line to include House Inspired in that, especially if we go with a sort of mental grafting as the graft mechanic, and we sort of build out the Invulnerable mechanic as also being sort of like a mental shield or something like that. That could be really cool. That could be really cool, especially if we go with kind of a darker... Oh! But we did the Dark Amber thing already. I had a thought where it could be like a new Amber mutation of some kind, but Mass Mutation already did the Dark Amber mutation thing. Maybe it could be like Amber that enhances psychic powers, but not like Future Sight or something. I don't know. They did show off the Invulnerable Dragon for the next set thumbnail, so it might come in the next set. Yeah, I thought about that too. And I think that dragon was supposed to be House Inspired when it was originally teased. So, if so, then I think we have a really good chance of getting House Inspired. Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm hoping, right? That's the... 2 minutes! 2 minutes! Ah! Primal scream of excitement. Primal scream! Okay. We're going to go through it. We're going to look at all the pledge tiers. We're going to look at all the bonus information. We're going to look at all the add-ons. Add-ons are always the thing where they surprise me. There's always something there that I wasn't expecting. We're going to look at the pledge rewards, the stretch goals. That's what they're called, stretch goals. We know what the first couple are, but hey, we might be able to glean a little more from their actual, notices. We might be able to, dig in a little bit and find a bit more, if we just kind of peel the layers back a little bit. Which is one of my favorite things about going through this stuff, is trying to peel back the layers. Also, I am so happy from the very first Prophetic Visions article, I called that they were going to do anomalies, and I'm glad. I'm glad I was right, because anomalies are super cool. It does look like they're going to treat the anomalies the same way they treat the Sky Beasts and the Revenants, which kind of makes sense since Revenants and Sky Beasts were pretty much at the same rarity that Anomalies were at previously. So I guess it makes sense to do that. And it's very thematically connected with Prophetic Visions for the Anomalies to come back, and it would have been kind of weird if they hadn't. Less than 1 minute. I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this. 45 seconds. I'm going to refresh the page when time runs out, just to make sure everything clears up. Last time there was a bit of a delay that was causing some issues. I don't know if that's going to be the case again or not. I don't know if that was a Gamefound problem or a Ghost Galaxy problem. I can't say. So if it's a little buggy, if we have a little bit of a hiccup and things are a little weird, I'm sorry. But we'll get through it. We'll get through it, and we'll look at everything, and we'll see what all they have in store. 3, 2, 1. I refresh the page. Oh, start imminent. No. Start now. Scroll down. Yeah, start now. No. Not imminent. Now. Do it. I refresh the page again. Ha! Did it. All right. Let's dig around and see what we can find. So, the Welcome to the Campaign, unique deck game, blah, 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 blah. We know all of that. It may be scan. Yep. 9th set. Adds wide world of Keyforge. Ghost Galaxy is the publisher. All right, here we go. Prophetic Visions. We've had this read aloud text before. Prophecy. Bunch of weapon. Okay, well, I'm just going to read it. Whispers drift through the crucible, echoing from temples lost and seers hidden in the shadows. Prophetic visions bring the mysteries of fate to light, a collection of cryptic omens and powerful truths. As the future unfurls in fragments, barons and oracles alike scramble to seize advantage from secrets long buried. From arcane artifacts to prophetic dreams, the veil thins and the paths forward multiply. Yet even the clearest vision is veiled in paradox. Glimpses of victory shadowed by ruin. In this realm where prophecy is as much a weapon as a warning, only the truly daring will embrace destiny's call. Ooh. That's awesome. That is a new bit of flavor text. I don't think we've had that before. Prophetic Visions, Magnificent Wonders across 200 new cards. Is that a confirmation of specifically 200? Or are we going to get more than 200? Also, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 houses. 200 cards across 8 houses. That's spreading them a little thin. Beware of the prophecy cards and the ongoing schism betwixt Sanctum and Redemption. Okay, here we go. Keyforge Prophetic Vision is the 9th set and features 3 exciting new elements. Prophecy cards, yup. Fate effects, yup. And 200 new cards for Brobnar Dis, Mars Sanctum, Saurian, Skyborn, and Untamed. Is Redemption not getting any new cards? Is Redemption going to be exclusively reprints? Guys, is Redemption going to be exclusively reprints? Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Ugh. Beware, the rebellious House Redemption has been spotted usurping House Sanctum in select packs. Okay, so sometimes you'll get Redemption instead of Sanctum, but it's an either-or thing. A lot of people thought that was going to be the case. That's fine. To get your hands on Prophetic Visions, consider backing one of the many excellent campaign pledges. All right, let's take a look at what they have to say about prophecy cards. Included in Keyforge Prophetic Visions is perhaps one of the most exciting new mechanics that Keyforge has seen. Each deck of Keyforge Prophetic Visions comes with several prophecy cards per deck. With these clever new objects, players may accomplish a thing never before possible in Keyforge. That is, cause surprising effects to be triggered on your opponent's turn. Well done, Dataforge! I'll be backing as soon as I'm done with the stream, but I want to do the stream first, and I don't think it's going to really make a big difference if I back it right away or if I wait a little bit, because I'm not really hunting any of the, super big stuff. All right. That's neat. Several prophecy cards per deck. Do they go in your deck? Do you shuffle them in? Or do you just have access to all of them? That's a lot. Let's figure it out. Embrace your fate, prophecy cards. In every deck, unleash vexing puzzles and unexpected challenges for your opponent. Prophecies create conditions that can influence your opponent's gameplay. Ooh, the cards will tell. Your opponent draws a card, put a counter on this card. If once it looks like it has a certain number of prophecy counters and it goes off. Okay. Attach any card with a fate effect face down to your prophecy card. If the prophecy is fulfilled, your opponent must resolve the fate effect. Nice. I wasn't after the big one. I don't know what the frame does. I'll look at it, but if the frame, even if the frame's super cool, I don't mind having missed it. Good morning, Dave! Welcome! They're telling us a little bit more about prophecy cards. Architect of the Crucible. Yeah, well, I expected that to happen. It's fine. Ooh, yes! Deciphering the details. Oh, I was right! Prophecy cards are double-sided. Oh, yes! Heck yeah, let's go. Good morning, it's a pseudonym. Welcome, welcome. Let's take a closer look at how prophecy cards and fate effects will work. This is what I've been waiting for. Let's go. Every Prophetic Visions deck will come with 2 double-sided prophecy cards for a total of 4 different prophecies per deck. Yes! It's just the same your card art in a future set. Oh, it's your card art in a future set. Okay, I guess. I'm worried that that's going to oversaturate, but here we go. Well, whatever. It's fine. Okay, prophecy cards. 4 prophecies per deck. They're going to be double-sided. You're going to get 2 double-sided prophecy cards per deck. Okay, prophecy cards are their own card type and are never shuffled into the deck and are never in play. They are simply either inactive or active. At the start of the game, you set aside your prophecy cards in an inactive state. Okay. During step 3 of your turn, where you play, discard, and use cards, you may choose one of your inactive prophecy cards, flip it to the side of your choice, and make it active by moving it near the center of your play area where your opponent can easily read it. At the same time, you may choose one card from your hand and place it face down under the prophecy you just made active. In this way, over the course of 2 or more turns, you can have up to 2 active prophecies at a time, each with exactly one of your face down cards beneath it. Got it. It's just the same. Yeah. 3 Worlds winners and 4 architects per set. Yeah, I think also the open winners might have gotten it too. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that would be like 10 per set. And if we start getting repeats, that could be quite a bit. Again, no shade. It's a really cool thing, but I'm worried that it could oversaturate pretty quickly and pretty easily. It could snowball on us. Okay, so I like this. So you can activate a prophecy and put a fate under it as one thing, and you could have up to 2 prophecies activated at a time. Very good. Each prophecy card describes in a specific... Oh, actually, hold on. I want to look at these because they're flipping around so I can see them. Okay, the cards will tell. Each time your opponent draws a card, place prophecy counter. If there are 10 or more, resolve each fate effect. Okay, we've seen expect the unexpected. We've seen forge ahead with confidence. And treat each action as your last. After your opponent plays 2 or more action cards during their turn, they resolve each fate effect. Okay. I don't hate that either. I like the World's winners getting a card. Yeah, me too. I don't know if I like buying your way into it, but it's fine. I mean, we got to keep doing the game founds, and if it encourages people to spend $500 extra, then more power to you, man. No shame. All right. Each prophecy card describes a specific situation that may or may not happen during your opponent's turn. When the situation or condition described by the prophecy card is met, the prophecy resolves. Some prophecy cards can be avoided by careful gameplay. Others will be inevitable at some future point. But the common feature of all prophecy cards is they will always resolve during your opponent's turn, never your own. Fair enough. What happens when a prophecy resolves? That depends on the face-down cards beneath the prophecy. Many prophetic vision cards will feature fate effects. When a prophecy resolves, your opponent, who will be the active player at the time, reveals the face-down cards beneath the prophecy and must resolve any fate effects on the cards. If the card has no fate effect, it is placed into its owner's discard pile. Oh, I can bluff fates! Ooh, I like that I can bluff fates. I can put a card with no fate effect under there and just be like, you don't know what it could do. After that, the prophecy card is returned to an inactive state and can be made active again on one of your future turns. After the fate effects are resolved, the card with the fate effect is placed in its owner's discard pile unless the fate effect itself place the card somewhere else. Hopefully they won't do the personalized card art as a stretch goal raffle again. Yeah, please no. That was not an exciting reveal for like $300,000 or $400,000. I especially because it put even more, or it didn't because we didn't reach it, but it would have put even more card art in. Like, it's a neat thing, right? It is neat, but like, we're not a huge community. It'll only take a set or two before we start getting repeats. And I just don't think that's going to work out. All right, let's look at these cards that have new fate effects that we've never seen. Embellish Imp. It's a 2-power disc creature. Each time an enemy creature is destroyed, steal 1. That's pretty great. Its fate effect is destroy the most powerful friendly creature. Okay. Yeah, I think the prophecy is going to be cool. Rage Reset. Play, destroy any number of friendly creatures, draw a card for each creature destroyed this way. That's pretty good. Or Fate, discard your hand. Its emotional response setting are a bit extreme. You think? Chummy. Before fight, if the creature Chummy fights is the least powerful enemy creature, steal 1. Nice. Fate, pay your opponent 2 amber. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad either. Yeah, I like bluffing. I like that I can bluff a fate. I can put a card down underneath a prophecy that has no fate effect, but bluff that I might, especially if you've like memorized what my fate effects are. That could be really, really impactful. And then Prince Bufo. Oh, I love Prince Bufo. Your opponent gains 4 amber. That's just good. Some folks lose all hope when they're turned into toads. Prince Bufo was the notable exception. Nice. Note that face-down cards under prophecies are not played. Therefore, any bonus icons or play effects on them will not resolve. Good. Strictly a good thing. Prophecy cards and fate effects add exciting moments of uncertainty and tension to your opponent's turns. Will your opponent shift their strategy to avoid a prophecy resolving? That's probably a good thing for you. Or will your opponent charge ahead and let the prophecy happen? That's also probably a good thing for you. Toad lore! Yeah, absolutely. People getting turned into toads and just living their best life. Look at this guy. He's living his absolute best life. He's having a good old time. But as I understand the rules, you can only use prophecy cards twice in the game because they're gonna go to the discard pile after they... No. Fate cards go to the discard pile. Prophecy cards return to the inactive zone and can be made active again on a future turn. It says here, blah, blah, blah. Reveal the cards beneath the prophecy, resolve the fate effects. If it has no fate effects, place in the discard pile. After that, the prophecy card is returned to an inactive state and can be made active again on one of your future turns. So no, absolutely. You can make as many prophecies as your opponent allows to go off, because the prophecy has to go off before it goes back to the inactive state, and you can activate it again. And when you activate it again, you could flip it over and do the one on the other side, because you're going to have 4 different prophecies to choose from, but you'll only be able to have 2 of them active at a time. No, you'll be able to use the prophecy cards a lot. There's going to be, I imagine, pretty much every game, every turn, you're going to have prophecies. Yeah, no, they don't go to discard. In fact, they never even enter an in-play zone, ever. They're never interactable in any way. So that's super cool. Yeah, well, especially because they're not supposed to be in your deck. So if they went to your discard, like, you'd have to shuffle them in, and they're not really supposed to get shuffled. All right. Oh, look, home base information. Let's see what they got for home base information. We know that supporting local hobby game retailers is an important topic to many Keyforge players. Yes, it is. It's a very important topic. It's one of the things we were talking about. After all, these amazing stores are where many players congregate to play the game. And the Keyforge community. To congregate to enjoy the game in the Keyforge community. That's why Ghost Galaxy created the Home Base program to bolster our local game retailers that support Keyforge and Keyforge Player. Home Base stores receive exclusive products, marketing materials, and other benefits. You can find a list of the Home Base retailers there. They're double-sided, so shuffling them makes no sense. Yeah, absolutely. Love the almost full art on the prophecies. Oh, I know! Look at that borderless treatment. That is super duper cool. I love that. I thought being placed on the discard pile is a way to limit prophecy use. Oh, yeah, fair enough. No, apparently the idea is don't limit them. Do it. Keep doing it. Never stop doing it. More prophecies. More bluffs. I kind of like it. Some people are not super excited about, like, trap card type effects, but I think it could be really cool. Okay. Retailers may participate in this campaign by receiving great wholesale deals. To receive great wholesale deals, exclusive products, and backer bonuses, interested retailers may go here. Tell your store. If they're not a home base, make them a home base. I've been talking to my retailer. Hopefully they're going to get there. During the Pledge Manager portion of the campaign, backers will have the option to support one or more of those home base retailers they have made a wholesale pledge. The higher the level of support from backers, the higher will rank the home base retailer, and the larger the backer bonuses those stores will receive from their retailer pledge. Oh, so you get to back more than one home base this time. Okay, that's a change. Probably a good one. I don't really think I have too much more to say on that. Why back this campaign? Yeah, I know pledging is open. I'm going to be a super high number, but I'm doing a stream. We're talking. We're hanging out. We're chatting. I'll do my pledge after the stream's over. And I don't think it really matters because I wasn't going for the limited edition, put me in the card pledge anyway. So, by backing a Keyforge Prophetic Visions Prophetic Vision pledge level, you get the following: show your support and interest in additional Keyforge sets coming to market, gain early access to Prophetic Visions, gain access to great deals on new decks, and access to several cool exclusive Keyforge products, access to many stretch goal rewards. At sufficient pledge levels, you get cool personalized decks and playmats, engage directly with Ghost Galaxy, support your favorite local retailer by voting for them as a home base. If you're a new player, this campaign will serve as a great entry point. And you can help Ghost Galaxy recoup some of the substantial investment in game design, software design, and artwork required to bring a Keyforge set to the market. Yeah, absolutely. Some more retailer stuff. Are you a retailer? Bonuses available during the campaign. Click the image above to find more. I am not a retailer, so we're not going to worry about that right now. Use our product comparison tool to choose the best pledge to make sure you've added everything you wanted. Interesting. All right, so here's the standard. You get one box. You get a Foresight deck. You get a named deck, which will have the Foresight treatment. And you get a playmat. I'm liking what Ghost Galaxy is doing with trying to bring in new players. I think we just need more invested into marketing. Yeah, I assume their marketing budget isn't really very big, though. I assume that they're doing the best they can with what they have, is my assumption. So this is the most standard one. This is the one that most people do. You get one box, you get an extra Foresight deck, you get a name deck that's got the Foresight treatment, you get a playmat. The cheapest one gets you a 2-player starter set and 2 extra decks. So that'll be 4 decks in total because the 2-player starter set comes with 2 decks. That's not too bad. They really need to have the retail page more prominent on the home page. The retail... Oh, you mean the home base... I'm not sure what are you talking about on their website, or are you talking about on the Gamefound? Seeker of Decks, $80 gets you 6 decks, so $20 more, you get 2 more decks. The home base page. Yeah, it was a little hidden. I didn't find it right away. It had to be pointed out to me, and I had to kind of dig a little bit for it. Not too much, though. I wish they had given it its own article, is really what I want. Yeah, on the Keyforging site. Yep, I agree. So yeah, there's your 6 decks. That's sort of your minimum investment in my mind. I mean, you can get the 2-player starter kit, and that's going to be also pretty good. Breaker of Chains. This is the one I normally do. This is 3 boxes with 3 Foresight decks, 3 named decks with the Foresight treatment. You can now vote for more than one home base. That's what it sounded like. Yeah, it said one or more in bolded text. So yeah, I think so. I think you can vote for more than one home base. We'll see once the pledge manager opens up. But actually, you know what I should do? I should open this up and take a look at Archon deck, playmat, limited edition Foresight pack, personalized deck. Okay, nothing there that I wasn't expecting. And at this level, you get a super key, which, cool. I already have a super key, but another one would be another one. And then Turner of Keys, this is if you want just like a truly ludicrous number of decks. Do I have a named deck in mind? I mean, yeah, I always do a Flightless Pheasant deck, and I usually open it on stream so that people can see. So yeah, I will definitely do a Flightless Pheasant deck. Go Team Visible Hand! Yeah, I will definitely do another Flightless Pheasant deck. And my Flightless Pheasant decks have actually been pretty good so far. I've had them turn out pretty well. The big thing with the Turner of Keys is you get the what is it called? Words are hard. Nope, that's not it. That's not collector set. You get the collector set, which is like one copy of each, which is really good. And then Architect of the Crucible. This is if you want just like a crazy, insane number of decks. If you're starting your own LGS or something. And then, yeah, okay. So, yeah, this is the... Yeah, get yourself in a card. Limited to 10 backers. That's fine. Stretch goals! Oh, my goodness. All right, so there's the first stretch goal. We already know what that one's going to be. And we know what that one's going to be. We do have stretch goals up to 600,000 this time. I think we only went to 500,000 last time. So, good. And actually, give me a second. Let me refresh the page really quick. Okay, we've not hit the 500,000 yet. We've not hit the 100,000 yet. That would be really impressive. Add-ons! Okay, single Archon decks for $11.99. Ooh, you can add a Foresight deck for $20. That's not bad. You can add Amber Skies or any of the previous sets for $15 a deck. Makes sense. And we still have the Worlds Collide Deluxe decks. Oh, okay. You can also add on a starter set for $40. You can get metal keys for $15. You can get collector sets from the previous sets. Okay, for $100. Playmats! Oh, let's look at this. Let's look at the Prophetic Visions playmats. Okay, what do we got? Here's the Dis one. Nice. Here's the Logos one. Following getting a Foresight deck is so much better than the pin that matches. Yes, absolutely. The Foresight deck is much better as a follow bonus. Redemption, that one's not bad. Humble Restraint. See, there they are getting new cards. Why didn't you say Redemption was getting new cards? Brigadier Ulse. Nice. Paleogene Society. Nice. Ooh, that one's kind of cool. Backspring. Interesting. Ensign Clark. I don't think he's got a good thing going on. Yeah, the add-on Foresight was a pleasant surprise. I know. I didn't see that. I didn't think that was going to happen. And then this one's really cool, too. Yeah, the add-on Foresight deck. Yep. I like the playmats. Oh, they're all down here, too. I like the playmats. They look really cool. And they're the extra wides. What would be a good reward tier idea for backing the campaign? Good reward tier? Reward tier? Or are we talking about stretch goal? Or are we talking about a tier that they don't have? They didn't... but didn't they do something like that with the Grim Reminder special decks? I don't remember. Could you just buy Awakenings decks? I don't think so. Maybe you could. Stretch goals. Okay, yeah, what would be good stretch goals? Okay, a new Keyforge adventure. Bam, on 300. Give us a new Keyforge adventure. I want one. I want it real bad. Or on 400. Either of those is fine. I would also... So 200 comes with guaranteed anomalies. That's really cool. I would also think that it might be really cool as a stretch goal Yeah, I'm hoping for a Keyforge adventure for sure. It might be really cool as a stretch goal if they can do it. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. But it might be cool as a stretch goal if we get to like 500,000 or 600,000. We get to one of the really high ones. A prophecy themed, yeah, or something connected to the next set. Awakenings was an add-on. Okay, I couldn't remember. No, at like the 500,000 or 600,000, I think this would be really, really cool because it ties in great with this set. If you could pick the 4 prophecies that you wanted, you get a special deck where you get to pick your 4 prophecies. That would be super neat. For like 500,000 or 600,000, we have to fund the absolute turd muffins out of it. And you'd still only get 1 extra deck, but you get to pick your prophecies. That could be really neat. Kind of like how you get to pick your houses for your name decks if you want to pick your houses. Maybe they can't do that. Maybe that's a logistical hurdle they weren't prepared for, but that would be really, really cool. At those super high pledge tier, or at those super high stretch goals. I still think the super key would have been a really cool stretch goal. Yes, I love guaranteed anomalies and more anomalies as an early reward. I think that's super good. I think it's really going to push us to get to that 200. I would love a Keyforge adventure at 300, and then get to pick your prophecies at like 500 or 600. Ooh, that's another way you could go with it. But would you modify the rules to allow you to have 3 prophecies in play at once, or would you still only be able to have 2? That's interesting. I was surprised the super key is not an add-on for this one. Yeah, I still feel like the super key would have been a great stretch goal. I don't know if it would be for this Gamefound, but it would have been for the previous one. You can buy the playmats, and you can buy the older adventures. So there's Great Hunt, the playmat for the Great Hunt, Fall of House Gormengeist, the playmat for Fall of House Gormengeist. This is Nightmare Mode for Fall of House Gormengeist. There's Rise of the Keyraken. There's the mat. There's Abyssal Conspiracy. There's the mat. You can buy the house pins. Oh, you know what I want to see? Do they have a redemption pin in here? Or do we still not have a redemption pin yet? Nope, no redemption pin. I'm sure it'll come out. I'm sure we'll get one. There's the Fuzzy Gruen. There's the Flumph. There's the deck boxes. There's the Winds of Exchange token sets. Shipping estimates. Ooh, this is also important. Yeah, they might still add the super key later. They've done that before, and it's fine. Okay, depending on where you live, we estimate the shipping costs. So here's the table for shipping costs based on what you have and where you live. Far East is Japan, Taiwan, Malaysia, Vietnam, South Korea, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, and Philippines. Shipping FAQs, only an estimate, taxes and duties. Yeah, okay, time frame. Here we go. Delivery time frame. With the exception of Asia, we hope to have all decks delivered by the end of May. End of May. Holy cow. That's actually really soon. Depending on where you live in the world, this is when you should expect to see your shipments. Added a Flumph. I was hoping to buy one at KFC, but it was exclusive price. Yeah, that's fair. I like how they listen to our feedback on stretch goals sometimes. Yeah, sometimes they do. I'm not sure what all the stretch goals are going to be. I really hope we don't have a special release set as one of them. So no Tokens of Change, no Menagerie, no Unchained. I think we need a break from special sets. We need to calm down on those a little bit. But we'll see. If they do have one, if there is a special release set, I really want it to be the equivalent of what Tokens of Change was for Winds of Exchange, but for Dark Tidings. I want to see all of the houses that didn't get to use the Tide, and see how that goes. My favorite adventure so far, The Great Hunt. Or Rise of the Keyraken. Ugh, that's actually really tough. I love both of them very much. I also hope we don't have a pin as a stretch goal. Yeah, that'd be a bummer. That would be a bummer. All right, so it looks like our shipping delivery deadlines are looking pretty much similar to where they were last time. Looking at like the end of May. I don't care about taxes. Foreign language locations. Gamefound campaign or English language only. Yep, that's the same. But we can support other languages via publishing partners for commercial releases in spring of 25. Ghost Galaxy staff will make every effort to read every comment on the Gamefound pledge page and in the Gamefound campaign updates. However, we will not engage in direct communication or clarification via the comments section. Instead, we will communicate via updates to the FAQ within update articles, and we are happy to answer questions from backers via the web form located on the Keyforging website. In some circumstances, we may contact commenting users directly via email or resolve particular issues or questions. What I've been seeing in the past adventures are that the side sets are the boost that the campaigns needed during the off days, driving up the pledges and reaching up to new stretch goals. I mean past campaigns, not past adventures. Oh. So that might be true. That might be true. But I really don't want it to be true, if that makes sense. Because it's a huge production burden for Ghost Galaxy, and it's been proving to be difficult for them, right? Their production quality suffers. And I hope that there are other things we can do to entice people that don't require Ghost Galaxy to work so hard on so many sets so fast that the quality dips. Right? I would hope that there are other things we can do to entice people that do not require... Because, like, I imagine a Keyforge adventure takes half the production resources or less that a full set does, even if it's a partial set. Feel that the Amber Skies campaign would have only reached 300k if not for Tokens of Change. That might be true. That might be true, but there's a innate cost that we are paying as players for that being the case. If it is. And like the special sets are neat, but personally, I'm not sure it's worth the cost, unless that's literally the only thing keeping it afloat. If the only thing keeping it afloat is that we keep tying these special sets to the core releases in order to goose the numbers up to get us to the values we need to be at in order for the campaign to be successful, then I guess that's just the price I have to pay. But this poor game deserves better. And hopefully we can offset that with new players. Hopefully we can offset that by just increasing the number of players and increasing the player interest and getting more smaller pledges to push the numbers up without having to introduce these special release sets. Tokens of Change was really cool. It turned out great, but I feel like Amber Skies suffered for Tokens of Change to exist. And I'm not fully confident that I think that was worth it, even though Amber Skies has turned out to be pretty good. So maybe I'm just harping up a wrong tree for no reason. Maybe I'm just making a mountain out of a molehill. Yes, agree with new players. Yeah, I think hopefully the goal is to get new players invested in these Gamefounds to help pump the numbers up. I know that's what I'm trying to do. I know I've got a short list of people who I've gotten into the game recently, who I'm going to try to pump the Gamefound to push the numbers up so that we don't have to release special sets, and that we don't have to take away production time. We know the What is Keyforge? Keyforge Adventures. Oh, are they just talking about what they are? Short teaser for Keyforge Adventures. To date, 4 different adventures have been published. Each of these are available in the campaign as add-on products. Yep. Reviews from different groups and companies. Refunds and collections, risks and challenges. Okay. Alright, so that's all the stuff. We're almost at 50,000 already. And it's only been up for like half an hour. So we're going to hit the minimum 50,000. No question. No question. I think this is going to be a really neat set. I'm nervous about there being only 200 new cards across 8 houses. Either the card pool is going to have to be... I guess the card pool wouldn't be smaller because they're adding an extra house. So the card pool might be larger or just as large. But what's the reprint to new card ratio? I'm not sure. Yeah, it is taking a minute. It is taking a minute, but I'm still sure we're gonna get there. No way we don't. And I'll put my own pledge in once we're done here. And I'll add my own fuel to the fire once I finish up with the stream. I really enjoy the prophecy cards, and this is pretty close to what I thought they were going to be like in terms of how they work and what they were going to be. I had a feeling they might be double-sided to give us more options. I had a feeling they might not go in the deck. I didn't know exactly how they were going to work, obviously, but yeah, this is good. This is good stuff, guys. I'm pretty happy. Fate, destroy a friendly creature. Also, something I'm noticing about the cards with Fates, there's a good number of them that either have enhancements, or have just really good effects that make me kind of want to play them instead of use them as a Fate, which I think is how you should design these cards, right? They should either give some kind of bonus other than their Fate effect, i.e. like enhancement pips that they've thrown through the deck. A lot of the new cards in Tokens of Change Redemption were reprints from other houses. Oh yeah. Tokens of Change Redemption had, including its 4 tokens, 12 cards that weren't reprints. But that was true for every other house in Tokens of Change as well. So, I've been thinking how you can choose prophecy cards from your decks in Alliance. Yeah, probably. My guess is in Alliance, if you're playing Prophetic Visions, you just choose any 2 prophecy cards from among the decks that you built the Alliance out of. That would be my guess, is that you choose any 2 from any of the decks that the Alliance was built out of. A little bit like how when you do Tokens of Change or Winds of Exchange, you can choose any token from any of the decks that the Alliance was built out of. That's my guess, right? And because of that, that's kind of why I feel like a stretch goal where I get to pick my prophecies wouldn't be that big a deal. Especially if I get to pick which 4 prophecies I want, but I don't get to pick how they're paired, so they'll get kind of shuffled a little bit. I think that could be fine, I think. And I'm hoping there's about 12 of these, is my hope. 12-ish prophecies seems like a good number. Hopefully the majority of redemption cards in this set are really new. I don't think it'll be the majority. There'll be several. If I had to like take a stab in the dark at the number, I would say probably, let's see, 40 to 50? No, not even that many. Because 200 cards across 8 houses. Funding achieved! Woo! Yeah! No, I think 12 is a good number. Let me do a little bit of brain math. If we've got 200 new cards and we've got 8, yeah, that's 25. That's 25 new cards per house. So Redemption might only get 25 cards. I already have a chase in Prince Bufo. I mean, he's a rare. No, he's an uncommon. You'll probably see him around. Yeah, you'll probably see him around. Though I don't like how Redemption was just reprints, but it's a good house to play with. Yeah, so it turned out to be surprisingly coherent. I was a little shocked at how coherent of a house Redemption turned out to be, since it was mostly reprints. But it did have its own feeling and flavor. But yeah, my guess would be 25 new cards per house, including Redemption getting 25 cards that are new, and then the rest will be reprints. Which, if we assume 40-ish cards per... Actually, you know what? We can bounce over to Archona. Redemption tokens was helpful. Yeah, absolutely. We can bounce over to Archona, and we can go to Amber Skies, and we can look at a house that... And we can exclude reprints. And if we don't count the Sky Beasts, which are like 20-something of those... So there probably were about 25 new cards per house in Amber Skies. And if we stop excluding reprints, and we take out the 26 or 27, and like 21 reprints. So that's not too bad. I mean, it's more new cards than reprints, right? Which is a good start. Keyfrog as a prophecy card. Maybe a stretch, but would be hilarious to see a frog dressed as a... Huh. I don't even know what to do with that, man. I don't even know what to say. That's wacky. But it's like the right kind of wacky. It's the kind of wacky I can get behind. You know what I mean? Yeah, the redemption tokens helped and pumped the numbers up a little bit. I'm expecting 25 new cards per house, 21-ish reprinted cards per house, which actually would make the set pretty large. They did post a new update. Ooh, let's talk about it here and now. Oh yeah, it's probably because it got funded. Yep. We are funded. Thank you all for joining. Funded in 34 minutes and 48 seconds. A lot to reveal over the coming days. So this is just the beginning. Let's see how the campaign goes from here. May your keys always turn. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what I expected. Because I think they've got it on an auto update, which is how it knows exactly how long it took. So with them hyping the Schism with Sanctum and Redemption, does this indicate this is also the story event next summer? I hope not, but I think so. Oh, that's update number 3. What's update number 2? Oh, this is Prophecies and Fates. It looks like this is just the same thing. Yeah, this is just the same thing they were talking about in the actual Gamefound. To decipher the details and prophecies resolve. An example of a prophecy resolving. Note the face down are not played. Yeah. Nope, yep. That's just the same thing we went over in the project. I'll probably do a separate video today, maybe tomorrow, going over that specific update so that people can just look at that if that's all they want. I'm hoping to get new mutant creatures in Redemption. Mutants from houses Unfathomable, Aquidon, Geistoid, and Skyborn, which can also be previews of those houses. You know what? That would be really cool. That would be really, really cool. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see a Getrukia with Dark Amber mutations. Or an Aquan with Dark Amber mutations. Yeah, absolutely. 100% fully agree. No contest. Yeah, this is good. Mutant Unfathomable. I mean, they're kind of already mutants if we're being honest about it, but they're not Dark Amber mutants, and that could be really cool. Yeah, I'm stoked, you guys. This mechanic looks well polished. It looks well thought out. I think it's going to be fun and engaging. I think it's going to have a lot of back and forth. Mutant anomaly candidates. Mutant anomaly candidates. You mean like things I would want as anomaly cards that are also mutants? I don't know if there is any. There might be. I do think that the summer event is going to be the schism between Sanctum and Redemption. I really hope it's not like the Mars one where the outcome will determine which house lives and which house dies. Because I think there's plenty of room for both. And I need an explanation for why... they can't get along that's more detailed. Because I'm not really seeing it myself. I mean, I understand that they don't have the same goals and that they're not perfectly aligned, but like if Sanctum can work with Mars, why can Sanctum not work with Redemption? That's really where I'm at. Mutant anomaly candidates in Redemption that would appear in future houses. Ah, I see. I don't know if I want them to appear in future houses, and here's why. I feel like the mutants in House Redemption should be Dark Amber mutants, and Dark Amber mutation is a specific type of mutation caused by the opening of the Dark Amber Vault. It's like you said, too many sets makes for less good quality sets. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When they announced more mutation as a set, I've been thinking that since they made Tokens of Change a set opposite to Woe, maybe they can make a set with mutants and gigantics, but with the opposite houses. Maybe. I wouldn't oppose that necessarily, but for me, okay, because I'm a big lore guy, right? So you gotta let me lore splurge a little bit. The opening of the Dark Amber Vault was an incredibly potent and singular event, and its reopening would be like a huge deal. House Redemption's whole existence centers on the idea of never again, right? We'll never ever again let the Dark Amber Vault be reopened. They sealed a vault, which is a big deal. Like, Archons have to try really hard to open a vault, and House Redemption, as far as I can tell, not led by any Archons, although maybe they were, sealed one. And that's a big deal. Lore rules. I agree about the Dark Amber. Yeah. I would need a good explanation, and they would have to make it a big thing. It would have to be a big story thing. You know? It would have to be more involved than just, we brought back mutants. Like, I would need them to tie it in, because the opening of the Dark Amber Vault was one of the largest story events in Keyforge's history. And yeah, it happened in the background of a really cool set that it would be nice to kind of do again and have the mechanics of again. But I think it's very important not to forget that there's also story elements happening here, and that those can't be neglected in the process. Which is part of why I've always said Dark Tidings would be the one to redo, because there wasn't a whole lot of major story event to Dark Tidings, other than the Evil Twins, which would be cool. What if the essence of the Dark Amber remains in the members of Redemption? Something from inside them instructs them to search and open another Dark Amber Vault. I really don't want there to be a second Dark Amber Vault. I want there to just be the one, because I feel like it makes Dark Amber this like really scary thing if it comes from this one specific vault. Making them something like a trader house, which leads to another story. Controversy around the discovery of a second Dark Amber Vault. That could be a thing. I kind of like the idea of it being singular, because Amber is just so wacky and wild. The idea that any two vaults that seal away specific types of amber, sealing away the exact same two types of amber, feels a little untrue to the spirit of how unique each amber shard and each psychic resonance placed within them is. But you could do it. There's ways you could do it, right? It's not undoable. I'm just saying, like, I would need a build-up, and I would need an explanation, and it would need to be pretty involved. I don't hate the idea of the Dark Amber mutations on Redemption making them reopen the vault themselves, and then they become the bad guy house. That could be kind of cool. I can see only having one in the lore. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me, because amber is just this really mercurial substance, and the idea that any two vaults would have identical mutating amber in them isn't impossible, because the Crucible's enormous, so it could totally happen. But I don't know. You know, amber's supposed to be a little more unpredictable than that. It's supposed to be, you know, really, really wild. I have thought about doing another set in the future where they open a vault and there's amber inside with some specific characteristic that is central to the set, you know. Like, they could have done it for Prophetic Visions. I'm not upset that they didn't, but they could have, for Prophetic Visions, said, we opened a crystal amber vault, and now there's all this crystal amber that lets you look into fractured shards of your future, and you can see reflected off of the inside of the crystals possible futures that your life might lead to. A little bit like that Rick and Morty episode with the death crystal that he was holding on to, and it showed him all the ways he was going to die. But instead of just showing you how you're going to die, it shows you possible futures. And so people are collecting these crystal shards to look into the future to try to set up what they want to happen in their lives. And it's not working out because prophecy doesn't work like that, and it's always kind of wacky and haywire. But something like that, something like, another vault has opened and here's this thing inside that has this really specific characteristic that's warping everyone to do things a certain way. that could be really cool, but I don't know if I want to do specifically Dark Amber again. Or if I do, I want it to be like a really big deal. If the Dark Amber Vault reopens, it should be, yo, you know what? Maybe that's what the summer event should be. Whether or not the Dark Amber Vault remains sealed. Like, maybe the event could be mutants versus redemption. Or like Dark Amber creatures versus House Redemption. And if House Redemption wins, the Dark Amber Vault remains sealed, and we keep getting House Redemption in future sets. And if the Dark Amber mutants win, House Redemption is annihilated. We won't see them again. But we get a mass mutation clone set. That could be really cool. It would be different enough while still being impactful that I think it would be neat. What if the houses have been touched by the Dark Amber and mutated, but just haven't met those creatures yet? Houses have been touched by the Dark Amber and mutated. Yeah, right? For the summer event. It's the Dark Amber Vault, like, surges open, and all these mutants come roaring out. And you as and you can choose, am I Redemption or am I the mutants? And if Redemption wins, the mutants are sealed back up, and Redemption solidifies itself as a house, and we'll see it going forward. And if the mutants win, they overrun House Redemption. House Redemption is annihilated, but we get to do another mass mutation set. Bigger lore dump or larger story event. I do enjoy getting bits of lore from the cards, but would appreciate maybe a short story or maybe an update on their website. Oh, absolutely. They've been doing better. Like this lore blurb up here, this is a new one. This is a new one just for the Gamefound launch. They have been adding more lore blurbs, and a short story would be nice. In fact, I'm really hoping that when Memrox gets inaugurated, we get a short story for his inauguration. Write that idea down. Look, y'all heard it here. If that's what the summer event is, I called it, I guess, you know? Because I feel like both sides of that are super cool and engaging and actually, like, worth doing, you know? Do you want another mass mutation set, or do you want to keep seeing House Redemption in future sets? I feel like both of those are sides that people could pick and could be really invested in. I think that could be really cool. That's my vote. But it's not what I think is going to happen. What I think is going to happen is it's going to be the schism between Redemption and Sanctum playing out. And, you know, fair enough. But yeah, no, that would be really, 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 really cool. And I've been saying for a while that I want a Keyforge adventure set during the sealing of the Dark Amber Vault. That's a better event than having Sanctum and Redemption fight. That's what I think. I think that would be really cool, you know? Instead of Sanction and Redemption fighting for reasons that... I mean, I guess it makes sense. Redemption's being pretty dickish, but I mean, like, they're hardly the worst house out there, you know? Unfathomable and Mars still exist. So, like, yeah. But I think it would be really cool. So you would either play as the mutants roaring their way out of the vault, or as Redemption. Oh yeah, and Dis. Yeah, like it's weird to me how unwilling to work with Redemption they are being portrayed as. Because even though Redemption is, you know, being pretty aggressive, you know, Sanctum has worked with Dis, Sanctum has worked with Unfathomable, Sanctum has worked with Shadows, Sanctum has worked with Mars, like... Hire me to guide the lore of Keyforge. I mean, I would do it. You know, I love the lore in this game. It's really great. Does have a Dis creature. Yeah, they do. I don't know how that happened. I think GG keeps forgetting that demons can't communicate. I think they keep forgetting that that's a thing. Really isn't a lot of agency on which side wins the event based on cards. Turned out to be very balanced. Yeah, the Martian Civil War turned out to be really, really balanced. And you'd have to balance it pretty closely. But then again, if they do it the way they did the Martian Civil War, where only one of your pods is connected to the event, your other 2 pods can be good enough to pull it up, even if the balance between the individual pods isn't perfect. Which I think is why the Martian Civil War event turned out as close as it did. I don't think it was because the power level between Rebels and Elders was like perfectly aligned. I think it's because the fact that that was only 1/3 of your deck was a big factor. 2/3 of your deck was not that, you know? Sanctum is the pick-me girl of Keyforge. Rude! But, like, not wrong. Oh, man. Fun to root for a side in the event. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, that was great. I loved that. And I would have been happy no matter what happened. Which is, like, one of the things... I did like that MCW was only 1 house pod. Yeah. And you could do the same thing here. In the event I've described. Pretty easily. You get a redemption pod or you get a mutant pod. And then the rest of your deck, do whatever you want based on whoever's hosting it, however they want to do it. You know, you can do sealed, you can do alliance, you can do bring a deck and add the pod or whatever. Like, I think that helps a lot with balancing this out, even if the specific balance between the 2 factions might not be perfect, you know? It was surprisingly fun across sets. It was. I only played it with Grim Reminders, but all the decks you got had Mars pods. Oof. Yeah. Oops. Not perfect. Not a perfect system, but I think it could be. That's, you know, that's the kind of thing I want. I think they did a great job with the summer event. I'm looking forward to another one. I want it to be lore connected. I want it to have impact. I know that the impact there is not fully equal, right? Because just including redemption in future sets is probably less work than coming out with an entire mutant-centric set that's like the mirror of mass mutation. But if we do the same thing we did for Tokens of Change, Tokens of Change, where there's only a limited number of new cards and it's still mostly reprints, I think that could work out. The problem there, of course, is if Redemption gets wiped out, we're back down to 13 houses and we don't have enough to do it, which means we need House Inspired! I'm just saying. That'll put us back at 14. Then you could do it. But they'd probably have to introduce House Inspired before that. And they don't really have time to do that. I saw Slash participated in with... Oh, wow. Yeah. And Menagerie. Yeah. Somebody at KFC was like, I wish the Menagerie sets were tournament legal. And I'm like, nah, man. I love the wacky wild stuff. Let's do wacky wild things sometimes, you know? Let's just really... And Woe. Yeah, I think Woe was the set to do it with. Or Tokens of Change. I guess Tokens of Change did come out in time that you could have done it. I didn't think about that, but I guess it did. And then you would have Martians in Tokens of Change. Wow, that's kind of wild in its own way. Man, I'm so stoked. The Menagerie Martian Civil War tournament was a fun run. I bet it was. This set looks really good, you guys. And I think Ghost Galaxy is listening. I think they're making updates and changes based on feedback. I love the lore blurbs. I really hope we get a big old, like, monologue or something from Memrox when he becomes Emperor, you know? I'd love a short story. That'd be dope. But even just a couple paragraphs I'd be happy with. Menagerie did have tokens. Sort of. Sometimes. Usually. Not always. Yeah, I have a couple of Menagerie decks with no tokens, but I have several that do, because it was pretty common for them to have tokens. Because a lot of times the tokens were one of the Menagerie packets. Alright, guys, I feel like I got what I wanted, and we got to talk for a while. I'm very excited about this set. I'm very excited about the future of Keyforge. I'm very excited about all the things still to come. Since we're already in the what-ifs, can you humor me with one more of my what ifs? I wanted them to do Dark Tiding revamp set similar to, okay, but what if we also get a Dark Tiding opposite set? Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe the Tide as a mechanic was not fundamentally bad. I think it could have been a lot of fun, and it could have been really good. And it was sometimes. I will stand by that. I will die on the hill that Dark Tidings was fun. It was an enjoyable set that was fun to play against itself. I would love a Dark Tidings opposite set. Dark Tidings revamp set, I don't know how well that would sell, because the big thing about More Mutation was that Mass Mutation was the best-selling set ever. And Dark Tidings, while not the worst-selling set ever, Age of Ascension, wasn't a great seller, and so maybe a re-release set wouldn't be the best idea. I don't know. I appreciate the thought, though. I appreciate the thought. And I like set-specific mechanics. Like, the Prophecy cards are a set-specific mechanic. I appreciate it. I appreciate that we're trying to do things that we're not always going to see, but that are going to be there in the now. Yeah, the houses would be the ones not in Dark Tidings. Right, absolutely. Yeah. Would you... Here's the thing. If we did that, would you want to bring back Evil Twins? Would you want to do the Evil Twins again? Because I think that could be really cool. Yeah, Geistoid, Skyborn, yeah, Mars. Yeah. So, here's what I thought you could do, right? Because I had that thought, too, that Dark Tidings without Unfathomable would be a little bit odd. But here's what you could do. You could call it... instead of Dark Tidings, it would be Dark Skies. And you could do it with everybody like fighting in the ocean in the sky. And so then Skyborn is now the anchor. And so you'd call it Dark Skies or Dark Horizons. I have trouble removing Unfathomable from any Tide-related set. I'm telling you, Dark Skies or Dark Horizons, and you let the Tide be like the winds. And so instead of the Tide card showing like the edge of the water with like a beach or the water surging up, it would show like the wind blowing one way or blowing the other. I think that could totally work. And then we'd kind of get a little bit of that Strataflight feel that we didn't quite get in Amber Skies. That's what I think. I think it could work. I think it could work just fine. Or you could go with a more traditional Tide thing, and I think that's still fine. I think it still doesn't really diminish the mechanic to exclude the water guys. At least in my opinion. Yeah. Yep. I mean, I would still call it the Tide, but I guess you don't have to. You could call it the Trade Wind, you know, who has, what, I forget the sailing terms, but there's a sailing term for if the wind is behind you or in front of you. And if the wind is in front of you, obviously you have a hard time because you can't sail straight. If the wind is behind you, you can just sail really straight. Based on deck registrations. So, kind of. But the other thing is you got to think about how much did they sell out. Hashtag keyword Strataflight. What would be a cool anniversary set idea? Headwind and Tailwind. That's what it's called. Yeah, you could call it the Headwind or the Tailwind. So do you have the Headwind or do you have the Tailwind? A cool anniversary set idea. I don't know. Do we want it to be tournament legal or do we want it to just be kind of fun? I kind of just want it to be fun, personally, for an anniversary set. God, what would be a cool idea? You could do something where... yeah, fun decks only. Okay, fun decks only. You could do something for an anniversary set that is like a tour de force of all of the Keyforge sets and mechanics to have come before. So your deck so it's a little bit like Menagerie, but instead of Menagerie packets, you get a theme. So the theme could be the Tide, or tokens, or prophecies, or enhancements, or house enhancement, or something like that. and it would just build you a deck with that theme included in it, but without the set limitations, without the like house limitations. I think that could be cool. It would all be reprints. Only chase cards: Gigantics, Evil Twins, Anomalies, Revenants, and Sky Beast. Oh my god! And their houses are all assigned randomly because none of them have assigned houses. Yo, that could be actually really fun. Wow. Alright, Atlantis. Yeah, like a roundup. Yeah. I think that could be really cool. Just here's the history of Keyforge. I also do think that you could have, like, Gigantic as a theme, and then it's just got, like, 4 Gigantics in one house. Yeah, that math works. Or you could have, like, Revenants, and you'd have a whole house of Revenants. Or you could have Anomalies, and you'd have a whole house of Anomalies. Or you could have Evil Twins, and the deck would come with, you know, an Evil Twin. Like, I think that could be really cool. I think that could be really, really cool. Yeah. The Flight of the Royal Fortune fan adventure also used Headwind and Tailwind. I'm just saying. It's a good idea. Good ideas are out there. People have them. Sometimes I'm people. Sometimes I'm not. Yeah. No, very exciting. Very exciting. I feel like you could do that. And it would not be too big of a deviation. And you'd still be basically doing Tide stuff. You just reflavored the Tide, you know? Take notes, Ghost Galaxy. Take notes, Ghost Galaxy. Maybe. You know, maybe. Hey, that'd be really cool. I think it would be great. As just a for fun set. And it's just like a tour de force of all of the mechanics and ideas, you know, as an anniversary set. I think that could be really, really cool. I will be massively disappointed if we don't get Wibble and Plims as linked specials coming as a pair. The 2 characters used in both Keyforge books. Oh, yeah! Yeah! That would be good. There's other characters from the short stories as well that might be kind of cool to see. But yeah, I agree. I don't know when, but I would like that. Maybe they'll have them as anomalies. Maybe there'll be anomalies in this set telling us that that's going to happen in the future. There's a comment in the Gamefound that has another idea for Strataflight that works across sets, FYI. Ooh! In the Amber Skies Gamefound or the Prophetic Vision one? This would be the last what if. I thought of something like a special set with diverse decks with 4 houses and a dominant deck with 1 house with 18 cards while the others have 9 each. Thought of something like a special set with diverse decks with 4 houses. That could be kind of cool. 4 houses. 36 cards. I think that divides by 4. Hang on. Let me math it. 36 divided by 4. Yeah, 9 cards per house. You could do that. And then you could do dominant decks where 1 house has 18 cards and the other 2 have 9. That could be good too. That could be fun. I would like that as just for fun. As just a weird wacky. On the Prophetic Visions Gamefound. Ah, boy. You're going to make me dig through comments. Here we go. Let's go. I'm going to do it. Comments. There's only 70 of them. I can find this. Nope. Update explain benefit. Nope. Yet the icons show Star Alliance's symbol rather than Skyborn, which is correct. Shadows and Skylines instead of Mars. And Skyborn can't believe they're not including Unfathomable in a prophecy set. It's a big one, I bet. Show me more comments. Somebody's got it. Oh, I Chihuahua. This is a big one. Near the end. Okay. Okay, here we go. Another thing. Strataflight could have meant house cheating with ships that temporarily pick up creatures in play from other houses. That would have been compatible with all past sets. There weren't enough bonus house pips anyway, so that would have been something fun to do with the ships that complements the precious few extra house pips. The largest number of extra house pips I ever got in an Amber Skies deck was 5. 5 cards out of 36, not enough to plan a strategy around, but 5 cards plus 1 or 2 ships with a once per turn flying overhead, deploy, ready, and play effect for the creature underneath them. Now you're talking. Okay. I see where you're going. I feel like that could have been good. Absolutely, that could have been good. And it's much more thematic than what I came up with, I think. Or more set locked, right? What I came up with was pretty much evergreen. And I didn't want it to be evergreen, but it worked. You know? It worked. And I feel like something that works was what I was really after. But yeah. Artifacts that join up could be fun. Think gigantic artifacts spread across 2 or 3 cards, but you spend amber to assemble them and bring them to life. That would have suited Geistoid. You know, that's not bad. I think maybe my preferred version of that might have been, instead of spending amber to bring them together, they have to all be in play simultaneously. So if there's like 2 artifacts that combine to make a super artifact, you play the first one and it's got some minor benefit. But when you play the second one, they combine into a bigger artifact with better benefits. But it's still one artifact, which means artifact removal is still totally viable against it. I think that could have been good. I think there's an idea there. I think we got lots of ideas. You guys. Talking all kinds of good stuff. Yeah, that could have suited Geistoid pretty well. Last question. How do you get a non-serialized version? Oh, okay. How do you get a non-serialized version of my creator card? So the answer to that question is I'm going to be working out the details on that in the near future. Yeah, allow them to be played separately. Join once they're both in play. Yeah. I'm going to be working on how to do that. My current plan is that I'm going to be putting together a YouTube, I think it's called member channel, and that one of the things you'll get in the YouTube member channel is the print and play version of my creator card. I'm trying to get some other stuff put together too. Like I've been trying to get together some custom emojis and a few other bits and bobs to make that feel worth it. But that's what I'm thinking right now. And the only reason I haven't done it yet is because I'm trying to put those other bits and bobs together. I want to get you guys some emojis, and I want to get you guys some custom, maybe little animated reacts or something, so that you feel more engaged in the community, and it gives you some incentive for being a member. But yeah, that's what I'm planning, is that will have the print and play version, so that you can print it at home and play it. And maybe someday in the future, I might get them printed on high quality cardstock again and do some kind of giveaway or something. But yeah, the plan right now is I want to set up a YouTube member channel, and I wanted to have it on there as one of the things you get for being a member of my YouTube channel, is you get access to the print and play version of my creator card. I do also still have some of the creator cards from people who won. Reach out to me and I'll send them to you. I'll mail them to you. I've already mailed a couple of them out because a couple of people reached out to me and were like, hey, I couldn't find you at KFC after you announced that I won. Just reach out to me, really anywhere, and I'll get a mailing address and I'll send it to you, because I want you guys to have them, right? This is a really cool thing that they did, and I want everybody to get their hands on them, and I want it to be available. So that's why I'm trying to put together these like YouTube member benefits so that people can do that. That's all I had. I don't have anything else, and I want to put out an update video specifically on prophecies and fate cards. So I'll probably transition to doing that right after I put my own pledge in. Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate y'all being here. This has been a blast. I had so much fun talking with you guys and going through all the stuff and looking at all the new cards and talking about future events and talking about all of our what ifs and all the things that we want to do and that we want to see. I will probably try to schedule another stream hangout in the not so distant future. I've also got my lore picks for Amber Skies and my lore picks for Tokens of Change. and Houses of the Crucible Skyborn, all on the docket coming up. Hopefully next week. I'm having a little bit of personal business I'm having to deal with. Nothing like super major, but it's keeping me distracted. It's making it difficult to put out my more planned content because it takes a little more time. But hopefully that'll all be resolved by next week or before next week, so that I can get that done and put out some more lore content, put out my lore picks, and put out my my Houses of Skyborn video. But that's all I have right now. So until next time, later, Archons. It was great hanging out with you guys.